Hi, my name is Chris, and this video is called Using Embodiments. If you are not comfortable with visualizing, which means seeing with the mind's eye clearly, then I would suggest that you watch my video on using visualization, my visualization instructional video, and then practice those techniques for several weeks before using this video. If, however, you feel comfortable enough with your ability to visualize, to see with your mind's eye, then you can go ahead and use the techniques in this video to your advantage. And to begin with, I want to explain what I mean when I say embodiment. An embodiment is very much like a god, deity. It is the embodiment of a particular idea. Its consciousness and energy are entirely about that idea. For example, I work with the embodiment of passion. The embodiment of passion for me appears as a male figure holding a cup with water pouring out of it in a constant flow. When I see the embodiment of passion, I see a male figure. I'm seeing through his eyes. I see the cup. I see his legs and hands. And I also perceive and feel his state of consciousness to a certain degree, while at the same time keeping my own identity and awareness so that I can ask questions and receive answers. The next step, after having gotten comfortable inside the embodiment, is for me to ask him questions and for him to give me answers. Now, this seems like a strange thing to do, and you're probably wondering, what's the point? Well, even though this is all happening inside your imagination, what is going on is that you are focusing entirely on one idea. The construct, the mental construct of the embodiment, in this case the embodiment of passion, is a way for you to focus entirely on one idea, for your mind to also communicate with you about what it knows about passion. Now, you have to distinguish your mind as a whole from your conscious identity, which is only a small fragment of the whole of your mind. This is another concept which is a bit odd, but your mind knows and perceives a great deal more than you're consciously aware of. In fact, it carries information which seems downright psychic or bizarre or beyond the ability of the mind to know it all. And while we're not going to discuss that at great length here, what I do want to say is your mind is much greater than you in the sense of the you that you think that you are. Your mind can convey huge amounts of information to you, but in order for that to happen, you have to have a kind of portal or communication device within your mind that expresses the intention that your mind can communicate directly with you and tell you about certain ideas in great depth. Now, this process is not immediate, even though I identify with the embodiment of passion. I see through his eyes, I see his body, I see the cup that he is holding and the water flowing out of it. I perceive his state of consciousness. I don't consciously have any way of grasping all ideas about passion even in that moment. However, I can ask questions and receive answers. Also, a great deal of information comes to me non-consciously, non-verbally, and flows into me over the coming days and weeks after doing the meditation. In other words, during the meditation visualization practice, I receive information, which actually comes to me as a form of insight, which I'll usually become conscious of in about 10 days or so. So it operates on several different levels: conscious, superconscious, and it conveys a lot of information to you about the idea that you're trying to learn about. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what do I need the most in my life? Embodiments are abstract concepts. They are ideas which are abstract and broad. A good example would be success, the embodiment of success, or the embodiment of love, or the embodiment of romantic love, or the embodiment of passion, or the embodiment of creativity, or of insight, or even inspiration itself. Whatever idea you work with should represent something that you need and are in some way lacking. The next step is to get out a piece of paper and write down a series of questions that you'd like to ask about your life and yourself and what to do, relating to whether it be passion or creativity or whatever it is that you want to embody. Then we do the actual visualization practice itself. Get yourself in a quiet, comfortable position where you won't be disturbed. It helps to have some ambient light coming in. I find that helps the quality of your visualization rather than doing it in complete darkness. The next thing is to count from 1 to 20 with the intention that by the time you reach 20, you will be seeing through the eyes of the particular embodiment you're working with. Let's assume, for the sake of making this easier to explain, that we're working with the embodiment of passion. You count from 1 to 20 with the intention that by the time you reach 20, you are seeing through the eyes of the embodiment of passion. By the time you reach 20, you will see and feel a body. It's not your body. Now, that figure may be carrying an object, or might have light surrounding it, or be carrying a staff, or any number of things. But just observe and take note of any significant qualities or objects that are being held by the embodiment that you're working with. Now, when I see the embodiment of passion, he's holding a cup which is overflowing with water. It's important, whatever form and shape the embodiment you're working with takes, that you ask about the significant symbolic meanings of the object or objects or qualities that you find with this particular embodiment. In other words, if the embodiment is holding a cup that's overflowing with water, then you want to ask what the cup represents, what the water means, and so forth. Those are good introductory questions that help you get into the mindset of the embodiment that you're working with. Since we're working with the embodiment of passion here, then you want to ask any questions you have relating to passion in areas where you're lacking passion or need passion, and how you can get it. The next step to take is to ask for a technique or practice which you can do outside of this visualization practice, which will help you develop passion or whatever quality it is that you're looking for. The embodiment will then give you instructions for a simple technique that you can use on a daily basis. But I would recommend also that you daily, for about 5 or 10 minutes per day, take the time to visualize and embody the embodiment that you're working with, seeing through their eyes, feeling them, asking them any questions you have. Just take the time to allow them to come through your mind. A lot of answers and clarification will come through, and I think you'll find this practice to be very beneficial and helpful it helps you remember that everything you need is within yourself. And that's the lesson that we all need to learn and to master. Thanks for your time. Take care. Goodbye.